Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the second day of Beauty Expo Australia Online. My name is Matt Smith, the event director for Beauty Expo. We had a great kickoff to our series of content sessions yesterday with our panel on resetting, restarting, and rebuilding in the wake of COVID. And today's session promises to be just as good. Now, we're going to wait just a few more moments while attendees continue to join us. Numbers are now moving up quite nicely. Expecting over 200 odd onto the call potentially today. So we're just going to wait to make sure nobody's going to miss out for a minute or so. While that ticks through though, just as they're coming in, just please take the chance each day over the next 3 days to look at some of the fabulous brands on view via our exhibitor directory. There are also some terrific offers and discounts available each day. So please take the opportunity to visit and have a look at those as they roll through to now, from today through to Sunday, to see where we are in terms of numbers. Glorious weather we're having today. As an Englishman, I'm always going to talk about the weather. Okay, just 30 more seconds and then we'll kick off. Okay, a couple of minutes in now, guys. I'm going to introduce the actual session today. So once again, good morning. My name is Matt Smith. I'm the event director for Beauty Expo Australia. And today it gives me great pleasure to introduce the second in our series of opening panels, The Future of Beauty. I'd like to introduce you to our panel moderator for the day. That's Sarah Hudson from Skin by Sarah Hudson. Now, Sarah is a skin practitioner with over 25 years of industry experience and a business owner, and is frequently invited to share her knowledge at industry events, work groups, seminars, and panels. She has regularly been featured in media publications such as Mamma Mia, Women's Health, Men's Health, My Body and Soul, Gritty Pretty, Beauty Crew, and is featured regularly on news.com. So I'd like now to hand over to Sarah and to welcome the remainder of the panelists. Thank you, Sarah.
Sorry, Sarah, if we can just get you to unmute. Sorry. Sorry, I know no one heard me, so I'll just tell you again, I'm really excited to be part of this event. I think it's really fantastic that Beauty Expo is holding this event. It's really important for us to come together as business owners and therapists and to be inspired by other industry leaders and also our industry colleagues as well. We've all felt a huge loss during 2020, both personally and also professionally, and I can't think of a better way to come together and to relook at our businesses and to talk to industry professionals as well. Over the past years, the beauty industry has seen such a massive shift in beauty trends, with a lot of the focus being on technology. And I think it's time to really look at inner health and wellness. And I think if COVID has actually taught us anything, it's about looking at our health and wellness of ourselves. And that's exactly what we're here to talk about today. I have an amazing panel of experts to introduce you to, and I know that they're really excited to actually bring you their wealth of knowledge and also their advice too. So the first panelist I'd like to introduce you to is Rae Morris. She's renowned as one of the most influential makeup artists in the industry. Rae is not only a #1 best-selling author, but also 4 times Australian Makeup Artist of the Year, the longest-serving makeup director for L'Oreal Paris, and has been inducted into the Hall of Fame. I'm really excited to have you on our panel today, Rae. It's for many of us in the industry, I know that we not only love your product, but love your book. And for me personally, I love your makeup brushes. So I'm really, really looking forward to your input.
Thank you for having me.
Next, I'd like to introduce Gay Waddell. She's a massive mentor within the industry. She's a businesswoman, a coach, and is internationally recognised as a speaker and educator. In 2015, she was awarded Educator of the Year and has a real passion for skin analysis and drives this through her business as well. I've sat on panels before with Gay, and it's really exciting to have her today and just to listen to her input about inner health and wellness. I'm really looking forward to you being part of this panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm excited too.
And Fiona Tuck, one of Australia's most well-respected skincare and nutritional experts. She has 30 years experience in the professional skincare and also wellness industry. Fiona is the host of the Forensic Nutritionist podcast, and her in-depth knowledge and also insight into future trends within the wellness industry has made her a most sought-after media commentator. Fiona founded Vitasol Beauty Food in 2017 with a mission to support skin health and well-being without the use of synthetic vitamins, fillers, chemicals, and petrochemicals. I'm really looking forward to your input today, Fiona, especially when we talk about inner beauty and also vitamins. Thank you for joining the panel.
Thanks, Sarah. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
And I would also like to introduce Dawn Rose. Dawn is the amazing founder of the Bridal Beauty, and she is here to help contribute today from a social media aspect and talk about building our businesses and really looking at how we can introduce not only social media but Instagram and cross-promoting within the business. So I'm really looking forward to your input, Dawn. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. It's great to be here.
So I'd like to start off today by actually talking about the integrity of the industry and also in inner health and wellness as well. How and where do we start with training, regulation, accountability, and understanding and how to overcome the challenges and the opportunities that we actually face within the industry? Gay, I'd like to put this to you first. I think your influence within training and really stepping up to what we need to know as therapists and business owners in relation to health and wellness is really key.
Thanks, Sarah. Without a doubt, the beauty and skin industry continues to evolve at a rapid pace. It's been doing that for a long time, and it's just getting bigger and more aggressive in the types of treatments that we actually are able to perform. So, this is very exciting. It is very exciting, but it's also really essential that technicians equip themselves with the knowledge that's required to safely use both current actives and the high technology equipment that we have available to us. There's reports and studies that indicate that the skincare industry worldwide is the most lucrative in terms of growth and personal investment. People invest money in themselves. And early this year, in the middle of a world pandemic, there were reports that stated that the skincare industry had a 60% growth, which is absolutely amazing to think, people just want to go out and look good. So people are looking for those high impact results, which means that, our industry no longer just offers those pampering treatments. We still have that side of it, but people are wanting the high end treatments now. And consumers are pushing us to do that, which really pushes us outside our scope of practice at times. And I think that's the thing that really concerns me. We really need to maintain the integrity of the industry. So we need to ensure that our industry technicians are providing treatments that they are qualified to perform, and they are not stepping outside that scope of practice. Technicians who deliver treatments that are outside of their qualifications are putting themselves at risk, and they're putting their clients at risk. And this ultimately impacts upon our whole industry in our profession as a result of practices not being regulated. And I think that's one thing that we really need to, try and achieve, is to get this industry regulated as much as we can. Then there's social platforms such as YouTube. They've become a mainstream pathway for self-educating. So if someone wants to learn how to operate a device or whatever, they just go on YouTube, but there's so many videos there that they can watch. So that's their level of education for a lot of people. And I don't mean that with disrespect, but those medium platforms are being used for that. So the concern with this is that people are watching these clips and they're not acquiring the background knowledge on skin health and the holistic treatments programs that we actually need to do in conjunction with these. And that's not to mention the individual needs to the client and the necessary for making sure that their treatments are met. Like, I was one of these therapists that was very gung-ho. I would bring everything in and let's peel it, let's burn it, let's do all this kind of stuff to it. And I've actually taken a back step now and really taken that holistic approach to people, because we still need to have that. I strongly believe that there's a need to have a core standard and code of ethics for all clinicians performing treatments, and therapists need to have a thorough knowledge of the skin, body and systems and the functions. You know, understanding gut health, understanding immune system, understanding hormonal functions, the lung function and the nervous system. It's all so relevant and so important to actually when we're treating skin and the skin disorders that we actually see. So, you know, if we look at the skin, that supports everything internally. So it's a major organ that we probably do respect, we don't. So if we start to feel unwell internally, then that is going to affect our skin massively. So education needs to be in depth and inclusive of a range of factors that continue to or contribute to skin health. And a quality education ensures success in industry. We must ensure that our industry reflects this. We've got to make sure that, you know, for our industry to be recognised, and we've just been through horrible situations where, you know, people don't really understand what we do. We're called beauticians, we're called beauty parlours. They don't really understand what we're doing. So we need to step up a little bit with letting people know what we do. Stand up and rejoice at what we do. So for me, maintaining scope of practice is really important. Accountability is really important. Having ethics, when to do a treatment, when not to do treatment, that's all part of what I practice in my own clinic. And it all starts with the consultation. You know, we have to put more emphasis on the consultation, and we really do need to understand the health and the wellness of the person, understand the nutrition. Nutrition is something that, you know, we're not taught when we go through college. It's something we have to study, and there's so many, you know, amazing courses out there, and Fiona offers one. I know she does that. So, you know, that's part of what we need to do to treat skin properly these days, to maintain integrity.
I think if there's anything as a practitioner, I can definitely say this with my own clientele, is that the skin is reflecting how people are feeling, what they're eating, the alcohol that they're drinking. So we as therapists or clinicians or practitioners need to have that real link between the skin and also gut health as well. And I think, like you said, gone are the days where you just learn a little bit of skin treatments on the surface of the skin, because we're now having to understand about technology, how to use that technology, how that relates to the skin. And now we have to take that next step into the nutritional side and really bringing that into our businesses, not going out of our scope of practice, but at least having an understanding of it, or having a good referral program where we can actually refer someone.
You're so right, Sarah. I think we do need to understand when to refer. Yeah. I think we do have to do that. Like we've become a little closed shop, and we hold everything close by, and we don't really recommend other services to people. And I'm all for recommending. I think I can't treat everyone skin disorder when they come in. I need to get some help there, and work in conjunction with other therapies that are available to us.
Thanks so much for your input. I really appreciate it. I'm going to move on to the next question, which is looking at inner beauty. And of course, Fiona, this is definitely the question for you. So understanding the importance of inner health and its impacts on external beauty. So really finding that balance between beauty, health, and wellness. And I mean, this is coming out of COVID, and like I said, what I'm seeing on my clients' skins, and I'm sure what everyone else is experiencing, this is just the perfect time to be implementing it into your businesses.
I think so. And it's interesting, you know, even with Vitasol, we've seen a real rise in clinics wanting now to expand into inner wellness. And because of the COVID situation as well, people now are more aware of taking care of their bodies and what they're putting in their bodies. So I think now more than ever is the perfect time to start to implement that holistic approach, and wellness is so important. But I do think as well, we need to come from a place of integrity. And I think, you know, skincare in the past has been very much about, we treat the skin and it's almost like we're treating the skin separately to the rest of the body. And I think we need to look at the skin in a very holistic manner, because we do know now there's a very strong link. There's a lot of really good clinical research and evidence showing us the link between gut health and the skin and the brain. So, you know, what we call the gut skin brain axis. So our stress levels, our emotions, what's going on in our gut, it's all going to have an effect on what's happening on the skin. But interestingly, even what's happening on the skin can affect the gut microbiota, which is really interesting as well. So there's this intricate system in the body, and everything is communicating. And so what we're putting into our body is absolutely crucial to when we're treating the skin. You know, and I say to people, if you're treating pigmentation and you're not looking at potential internal causes, you're not looking at diet and lifestyle factors, then you're not going to get really good results. We have to look at the internal when we're treating pigmentation. So I think it's really important that we're able to recognize on the skin signs of internal disharmony, what may be going on internally, signs of nutrient depletion, but as you were both mentioning earlier, still staying within scope of practice. So it's that very grey area, I guess, of making sure that we understand all of these systems. We know how to recognize them. We know how to support that in clinic with potentially internal treatments, ingestibles, but we're not stepping outside of scope, and we're not suddenly doing a short course online on nutrition and think we're nutritionists, and then we're recommending nutritional advice. So there's that very fine line, and it's important that we stay within that realm.
And then coming back to that question before about integrity, is that it is so important to connect that together with understanding what we can and can't prescribe, but at the same time having that knowledge. And I know with Vitasol, you provide that to your salons that actually have it. I know Chisa runs a great course with Nutritional Skincare Academy as well. So there are different avenues that people can actually go to find out that information. And I think that that's really key in that when we have a look at the links between the two, that we are actually educated as well. And I know Fiona, Gay and I all come from a big education background.
I think education is so important, but also to remember a little bit of education can be dangerous. So you can do, you know, some very basic training in nutrition. It's important to understand that you're not then a nutritionist, you know. Yeah. So what we're telling our clients to do on a nutritional level, we have to keep it very, very broad and very safe. Because if you probably hear my little puppy in the background, sorry. Because if we start then recommending really high doses of essential fatty acids, for instance, which I hear therapists doing all the time, you know, 10,000 milligrams to reduce inflammation, we're then at danger of increasing blood thinning, interaction with medications. So we need to be very careful. And my advice is understand nutrition, but don't become then the nutritionist unless you're an accredited nutritionist, because there can be medication interactions, there can be side effects, especially when we're talking about isolated vitamin supplements, which work very differently in the body to food. And so you're always going to have a consequence or a side effect when you recommend a high dose isolated nutrient. And we need to remember the cell isn't designed to function in that way. The cell is designed to function with a variety of different nutrients that work as cofactors. So if we take one nutrient in isolation in high dose, it's a little bit like a game of snooker. You hit the white ball, one colored ball goes down the hole, but all the other colored balls go scattered in the wrong direction. So for every action, there's a consequence. If you take zinc, for instance, you can affect your copper and your iron levels. So we've got to be very aware of all of this when we're practicing in clinic. And so we need to understand how nutrition affects the skin. We need to be able to help our clients on that level. But my personal opinion is don't get too caught up in the nutritional consultation and then start moving out of scope of practice, and don't start recommending, high dose isolated synthetic nutrients, vitamins and minerals, because you can get yourself into trouble.
Yeah, which again is exactly knowing what you can and can't recommend. So Ray, I just wanted to come to you. What, with your clientele and particularly as a makeup artist, are you then recommending nutritional wellness to your to the people that you're performing makeup on? Like, how are you seeing that link as a makeup artist as well?
Really, really good question. And it's really been fascinating listening to the ladies who've just spoken. So this is my take. Like, I sit in two groups. I'm either looking after someone, celebrity going to a function, or I'm looking after someone who wants to learn about makeup. And for me, I always got to know what that person's coming to me for. And sometimes people are coming to me because they want to feel great. And similar, hearing the stories, like when I go to a beauty salon, sometimes I just want to have a facial. I don't want to hear anything. Then there are people that do want to know my advice. And what I'm all about is having my tribe of experts, because the one thing I don't want to do is go down that well like you're talking about. So I have a little tribe, and I think this is what's really important with what's happening now, is we support each other. It's about supporting other brands, other salons. We've been introducing this fabulous panel right now, like having this network of people. So the great thing about my job, and it's surprising to so many, but most of the celebrity models are extremely healthy. Like, I learn so much from them, and their whole passion in life is Pilates, the water, the chia seeds, whatever they're doing. And we always talk about the people that we love. So I have a little book that, so for example, Dr. Libby Weaver, she's one of my favorite people with health. I have my skin people, my laser person. So I'm someone that if they ask me, I want to be armed with the best answers and where I can send people. But for me too, it's important that I'm just that artist, that they come to me. I got the information there, but I also feel at this time it's giving people space. And I think it's important to help women. I agree with that, but I think we've also got to remember why people are coming to us in the first place. And I think for me, like, I'm just speaking completely out of context, but when I go to a beauty salon, sometimes I don't want any information. I just want to feel good. I just want that space, and I just want that, but it's so great to have the expert advice there, if we need it. So I think, people want to feel, and one other thing too, I find with makeup, I'm not sure exactly what the question is, but one thing I'm finding too that's helping business, I'm actually only talking to a group of women this morning who are just talking about having facials, and it was really interesting. It was eavesdropping. There was a group of 10 women. They've all gone to different salons, had nails and all this stuff. And 2 of them said, I went to 2 salons and they didn't check my temperature and they didn't do this and that. I'm never going back there again. And they're quite good salons. And the other 2 were like, oh my God, I have to do this and do this up. And they were so sterile. And so I think even just that, making people feel safe is just even that little thing that people will remember when they leave. So I don't know exactly what the question was. I hope I've answered it. Health and wellness, yeah. And just to summarize that, of course, I mean, the thing with makeup, I get really frustrated with Instagram. It's like foundation, 27 layers of makeup to then take a photo, then a filter. And I'm always about the skin. Like, you get that skin, it's the most important organ. And it's not just on our face, it's everywhere. If you get that organ, if women are getting married, it's all about gut health. Exactly. Because if your skin looks amazing, it's the most anti-aging powerful tool you can have with no make. I'd rather have a woman with no makeup with amazing skin than amazing makeup with bad skin.
Yep.
So
no, I totally agree. And as a practitioner, it's one of the most requested aspects that I get is I want to have great skin and I don't want to have to wear makeup. But I want to come back to something that you said before, because I think it's an aspect that we often forget about. And that is that you really have to understand why your client is coming into the business. I introduced a luxe facial day on Saturday, which I never ever thought that I would go back to, having done lasers for nearly 10 years. And it is one of my most popular treatments. And it's not about gaining new clients or different clients. It's about that sometimes we as women just need time out, and it is a time out treatment. So when we have a look at inner health and wellness as a scope, it's not just about what does the skin look like or what is our inner gut health look like. It's also that relaxation as well. And I really love that point, because sometimes we forget about that. We forget about
also too about that. Some people have really toxic home life. Some people have children they're not coping. I mean, the amount of people that have sat in my chair, I've just touched them, they just cried, and that's all they needed, and a hug, and just to be touched. You know, some people living in worlds where they're not even touched, and I think the power of that, and I always think it's how you make someone feel. That's what they remember. And honestly, it's how you make them feel. So I think it's really important right now. Always important.
The wellness side of what we're doing is actually about what we do, is about that touch. It's about exactly what you said. It's about how they feel. It's not just about looking at their nutrition side. It's about the whole scope of that. And I really love that point, because I think that we really often do forget that. So thank you. I wanted to ask Dawn this question about skin entertainment, and if we take these different facets of our business, so from looking at the superficial aspect of the skin and how we treat the surface of the skin, to the internal aspect of our skin as well, how do we then communicate that to our clients? So how do we promote that? What do we bring in? What are some of the best ways of connecting to different people, or to actually building that within our own businesses?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of different ways. When you're connecting with brands, one of the things you have to remember is that it should be a two-way partnership. You know, it shouldn't just be that the brand gives you what they've got and expects you to then promote that brand. There should be a partnership there. And most brands will have their own media kits. Now, that used to be the poster in the window and the bumper sticker for the car, but we've changed that now for our hashtags and the social media posts. So it's really important when you are connecting with a brand that you feel like that you can get as much information from them as possible. And I think everyone is saying here, do your due diligence. Make sure that you are researching the products that you're using. Make sure that you really understand what you need to know, because clients are asking questions all the time. So again, like what Ray was saying about having that, this kind of little black book of people that you can also refer to. And remember that the industry that we're in, it's vast. And we should try and use that when it comes to promoting. So networking is really important. What I will say as well, which is something that that Ray just said, she said it's all about how we make our guests feel. And I always say that it's not good enough to just be really good at your job anymore. You need to provide a guest experience. And that starts from the minute they even look at your social profiles. So how you're portraying yourself online is really important. Another thing I would say when it comes to promoting your services would be, number one, don't just always post a sea of faces. Try and mix it up. Mix up the digital aspects of your business, mix up video as well as photography, some candid stuff as well, and a little bit then about yourself. And don't be frightened to be in front of the camera. I think a lot of hair and beauty pros, they get a little bit scared about being face to face on the camera. But one of the things in the digital world is something called the know, like, and trust factor. Your clients have to really get to know you, to like what you're doing, to trust that you're going to provide them with the best service possible. And I think that making connections using something like live streaming is wonderful. If you can do live streaming, particularly as well videos, and being able to connect with those clients online is really important. So even though we like to demonstrate what we're doing as makeup artists, we see lots of makeup videos where we're demonstrating on models and on faces. Another thing would be to use real life people as well, as opposed to models. If you are a beauty pro that reaches out to the general public, then use real life people, use your real clients, get them involved in what you're doing. So I think that can really help create connections.
Can I just say something on that? From the panel yesterday, Carla from Macquarie MediSpa in Bathurst was actually talking about that, how during COVID, they increased their business by doing the online videos of what they were actually doing around her salon and involving the staff. And she was saying that people were actually coming to the business because they felt that they knew their staff before they even walked in. And I thought that was a really, really key point about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for that. The more that you can involve your staff, yourself, it's funny because the things that we do that seem completely mundane to us every day, if you take COVID for example, and the whole hygiene aspect of COVID and how everyone's ramping up their hygiene, for us as beauty pros, hygiene is our number one thing in all of our salons, in all of our makeup kits. So the things that we take, we just do as normal. It's funny how now I'm saying to clients, well, if this is how you disinfect your makeup brushes, get a video out and film what you're doing. Show your clients what it is that you do. Yes, it's a second nature to us, but they want to know this. So I think COVID has brought that out to the fact that the consumer, wants to make sure, again, it's them doing their due diligence to make sure that they're going to the right place that's suitable for them. And then again, with Ray saying about getting that balance right between, not being completely over the top that you're pushing clients away, to them being safe enough that they feel comfortable being into your salon. But you can do that through the form of video, and you can do that even just with that whole behind the scenes aspects. I mean, Instagram stories are fantastic for doing behind the scenes shots of your salons, and walking through a guest experience. What do they expect when they walk into your salons, or what do they get when they're actually meeting with you in person? So I think it's really social media has provided us, it's such a game changer. It's such a game changer.
So I was on your Instagram and also website last night, and one of the things that you do that I love is the consultation with businesses, and you connect with them straight away and through the different avenues. And I thought, wow, that's just a really great business building concept. What are some ways that salons and clinics can build inner health and wellness, if they're not already doing so, into their businesses now? What are some ideas that you have about that? As in how they can promote it? Yeah, like online. How can they promote it either online or? Well, look, I find that sort of things like really simple things like ebooks are a really great way to attract clients to a business. I think you want to be building up an email list. I'm all for that in marketing. I have an email list now that's grown to about 1,500 bridal stylists. So these are all people that want to learn about bridal, which is my specialism. But I've done that through offering ebooks, through offering small like mini courses, videos, getting them to register for things like that. And with social media as well, it's about getting people to come back to you. So being really consistent. So let's say once a month you jump online and you do a live Q&A, the last Friday of every month. It means that your clients know, and even new clients will start to know, because
the algorithms will work on Facebook and Instagram to sort of push your content out the more live that you do. But you know, the last Friday of every month you jump on and you do a Q&A for your audience, you answer questions, and so they know then every month they can come back. The benefits then of live streams would be that people can actually ask you questions while you're live, or you can have pre-recorded, you know, pre-written ones ready for when you jump on. So whether there's someone there or there's someone not there, you just have to remember it doesn't matter. The replays are just as important as the live streaming. So I think promotional wise, if you people love things that are tangible, so anything like an ebook that they can download, or you know, a video series that they can watch. You can connect with the clients quite well that way in using your, you know, your health and wellness knowledge.
With the ebook, and I know I do an ebook so when someone gets onto my website, they can download the ebook, and that way I instantly have their email addresses. Mm-hmm. So it's a really great way of you connecting with them and also them connecting with you. Is there any particular companies that you recommend to actually have a look for ebooks, or to help build that ebook into?
Well, I mean, look, it depends on, it really depends on, you know, your finances. I always tell my clients to write your own ebook, because there's nothing like your own knowledge. Now you can write a rough outline and use something like fiverr.com to actually produce the ebook for you. You could use canva.com, which is like a graphic design thing. This is a free website that you can use, and you can design your own ebooks. They look amazing. You could go something, in Australia we have Airtasker, so you can actually commission a VA or something to do your ebook for you. So it really just depends on your funds and whether you're willing to put in the time and effort, and if you've got the time really as well.
Yep, I know, I agree. And I one of the things that I do love about ebooks is that you're giving a future customer something before they even come to you, and they also know a little bit about you as well, which I think is really, really key.
And one of the things I will say, that if anyone does decide to do this and they put together an ebook, make sure that you do put it behind an opt-in. So make sure that you are asking, you're requesting names and emails. That's really important, because you need to treat every potential customer as if they are a customer as well. You know, treat them as if they are someone that you're now including into your salon family. And what you also want to do, which is a little trick that I have, that on the thank you page, so they'll opt in for their they'll give you their name and their email, they'll press submit, and then you send them their ebook. On the thank you page is where you might want to offer something for your salon. So it's like prime real estate for you then to say, prime advertising space for you to say, thanks for downloading my ebook, you know, give us a call and book in your X today, and here's a little discount to incentivize you. So what you can do then is you're encouraging somebody to book a service with you instantly. You know, call us within the next 48 hours and you'll get this, you know. So name, email, phone numbers are great, because you can then entice people to actually make a booking with you. So then that's all about increasing revenue and getting new clients through the door.
Thank you so much. Does anyone else have anything to add from the social media aspect that may or may have not worked in your business in starting to build that health and wellness? Because I think for business owners that haven't maybe introduced wellness products into their businesses yet, it can be that next step. And sometimes as a business owner, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't actually know where to start.
Well, if I can talk, one thing that we do at VitaSol, for those people that are a little bit nervous going in front of the camera, one thing I suggest is to, you know, either do whatever you're more comfortable with, Facebook Live, Instagram Live. I find Instagram way easier to work myself. Facebook I find really complicated, but we still use it. It's to do Instagram Lives, but, you know, invite, if they want to do something on nutrition, rather than get, you know, I find a lot of therapists are very scared of talking about nutrition for good reason, because you can get caught down the rabbit hole, you know, and it's like, so I always say, you know, talk about the skin, always bring it back to the skin. But if you want to then do Instagram Lives and about diet and acne, diet and rosacea, you know, and different skin conditions, even diet and pigmentation, that's a huge one that people don't understand or don't think about. you know, call in the expert. So call in the company that you're working with that has the nutrition expert or the wellness expert that you can interview. So you've got questions and they can then go in depth and talk to you about nutrition. Because I find when you do an Instagram live or a Facebook live, you pick up new people because people are scrolling through social media. They start watching it. And you can actually gain new clients that way. It might be maybe you're doing something on collagen. They've seen all these different products out there. They've got questions. You can actually answer those questions while you're live. And, you know, if you've got someone that really knows what they're talking about, that's non-biased, that isn't just trying to sell you a product, that can give you a really good, well-balanced answer, then you're more likely to pick up new clients from that. The other thing I would say as well is really make sure that you are set up now for 2020 and have an online store, because I know a lot of therapists are scared of online sales. You know, they think they're going to get their products, you know, stolen or taken away from them, and competition. And, you know, we're in 2020 now, we're not in 1980. You know, we've got to come up and meet what's going on. And if you're not selling online, and beauty sales, skincare sales have gone through the roof, online sales. So if you're not making those products available, they're going to get them elsewhere. And I know, you know, there are a lot of clinics I would have loved to have support during closure, but they just didn't have those products available online. You know, you've got to call the clinic. They're not in the clinic because they're closed, or they're in a treatment, and it's very hard to get hold of the therapist to then buy a product. So I think you're keeping your business small by not letting your products go online. It then comes down to the integrity of the therapist and the industry, because what we also then don't want to see happen is that price war. And I think it's important then as an industry that we don't then start getting into these price wars, which will actually then destroy the industry. And I think that's something that we all have to be aware of as well.
Oh, I agree 100%, Fiona. I think that we all work too hard to see the industry discounted by different price wars.
Can I jump in on that actually,
yeah,
Sarah? So one of the things I think that we can do, again, when we're pricing our services, and so that we don't become this price war, if you want to set yourself apart, then use the digital aspect of your business to do that. So use your ebooks, use your videos, sell your product with the digital package that comes with it. Because if you can then use your knowledge, you can use, you know, your video series, your ebooks, when you take them step by step through what they're using, how they're using it at home, and what they should expect the outcomes are. You then don't have to discount. You don't discount. Your prices will remain the same, but you add value by using digital. And if you can do that, you pack it out, it becomes an offer rather than a service or a product that you're selling. If you can create an offer around your product, there's no need to discount. There's no need to, I always say that there's no point when you're going to pitch your products, even as a makeup artist myself, if everyone around you is charging $80 and then you charge, let's say, $75, so you come and you think, oh, I'll go a bit cheaper because I'm new or I've just started out, what's going to happen? The next person's going to come along and do exactly the same. They're going to keep going lower, lower, lower. And then what's going to happen? All the consumers are going to go, well, who's the cheapest? They're all providing the same service, so I'm going to go with the cheaper price. But rather than do that, you set yourself up with a really decent price, but then you use the digital aspects of your business, like ebooks and videos and series of emails, for example, to make yourself be able to keep your prices at a good value, at a good service, at a good standard, but use the digital side of it as well.
Can I?
Oh yes, no, sorry, go on.
There's so many great points in all of this. Thank you, Liz. Just a couple in with the price. One thing too with if you're a bit nervous of Instagram being in front of the camera, it's been nearly a year and a half now. I do an online makeup series because I couldn't travel as much. So what I find, I do them live, and it's really full on because they see all my mistakes. They see like how an eyelash can be taken off 17 times before I'm happy with it. And I do them once a month. And I find the ones that I really like, they see the mistakes and what I do wrong, and they can ask the questions, are my most successful ones. I think people are dying for authenticity. They're so strong. And the other thing, just with the price thing, Dawn, one thing I find interesting in the makeup world too, I think women and men like to find their tribe. And I think Instagram, I was learning a lot of this with my brand and my brand experts who've helped me so much, that you have what you call touch points. And we do work so much on our websites, but most people will find you on Instagram way before they even get to your website. Yeah. So your Instagram has to reflect your website. Also with Instagram, it's really important that your posts can be as educational or as entertaining. Yes. Because if they're not those two things, you miss out. And then back to the price war, the way I teach this to my students about pricing, it's like, well, first of all, pretend you're that bride or you're that girl wanting her makeup done. You go on Instagram and ask yourself, would you book you over somebody else? And that Instagram page is so powerful. I can't teach people taste. I can't. And the thing is, when you put an image out there to the world, you are telling the world that is your aesthetic. That's what you believe in. That's what you love. And a lot of the junior, and this is more for that up and coming artists who are watching today, that, you know, because you're on a shoot and the model was grumpy and your friend did the hair and the photo's awful, but you love the makeup and you put that out there, it can send a message that you're not caring about the perfection about everything. You know, you've got to have that eye for detail, and women with makeup want trust. And also too, if you have those I always say this, I want to get more brides. How much bridal work, you should have so many images on your Instagram that are so inspiring and beautiful. And yes, on Real Women, I completely agree that when they go to your page, they just want you. And when this price war comes up, it's like, well, but if they're loving your work, that price isn't really a big deal. I don't agree with charging more for a bride. I personally have found that charging per hour has worked. It's how our industry works. We don't do per person, we do per time, which is awesome. So I just think, yeah, back to that social media, like the lives and the clumsiness and the mistakes. And I even know when I've gotten skincare and I get really confused, you know, I've had the therapist send me a video on how to, because don't give me the forms. It's too confusing, but it's, you know, I agree you can add so much value, but please make sure your Instagram is a reflection of your website, even the fonts. And also, sorry, last little point, if you're a new solo artist, try and call yourself your name, because it's harder to remember sometimes salon's name if you're an independent artist. If you're a makeup person, don't call yourself a tricky name. Call yourself Ray Morris, because then people know who you are. Different with the salon business, but as a solo person, just have your name. It's just helpful to find you.
Yeah, 100%. I want to echo that as well. And I think when it comes to particularly with Instagram, and because Instagram is such a visual platform, I think that Instagram has taken over what used to be our galleries on our website. So people don't hang around on your website. You know, you've lost people within about, 8 to 12 seconds and they're gone. But on Instagram, they will scroll, they'll actually spend time and they'll look through your newsfeed. So I always say that you should have your Instagram profile, like Ray was saying, should be a reflection of those really high kind of polished work as much as you can. I definitely think that you can use video as well. I mean, Instagram TV is a great way of doing that, but it also then you need to understand the differences between the clientele that's on Instagram and the clientele that is on Facebook, because the demographics are very different and they want different things from you. And I find Facebook can be a lot more candid. It can be a lot more I guess behind the scenes, a lot more casual, whereas Instagram is exactly what Ray's saying, is that it should be, it should be really good, high quality photography where you can, even if it's of a product, even if this is a product that you're promoting, it still should be a really good representation of your business and of your work.
I want to second that about Instagram and also Facebook as well. before having a look at your social media platform, it's really important to actually have a look at your demographic and who your clientele is. So with my clientele, I actually have a mature clientele that are still very active on Facebook, and a lot of them haven't actually jumped ship to Instagram. So whilst I do have a growing Instagram community, I still have a very big clientele that follow me on Facebook. So understanding the two different platforms is still really, really key. And Facebook still has some really good platforms for an online shop, online services, video content as well. So that it still is a really relevant platform.
Definitely, definitely.
And I just wanted to ask this question to Ray, just before I move on to the final question. In building your social media, Ray, and particularly with your makeup brushes as well, was there anything in particular that you did that you found really key in getting your consumers to know how fantastic your makeup brushes were? Or was there any key points in really transferring that sale to your consumers that you found through your social media platforms?
What I think is having a really good product was definitely just the base, and having an authentic story, and people found the story interesting. I think that's a really important thing with brands. I think people are getting more attracted to the story of how something was developed. And I think because in a very 2-second story, we have the last living Japanese master of craft left alive in the world doing these brushes. Like the history is incredible. So there was that. Also, having other artists organically talk about it. We don't do paid posts. We don't. It's a hard minefield, especially if you have a brand, because that whole thing you were saying earlier about people wanting free stuff and doing posts. It was just, I think for us, it was about not being in a hurry, knowing we had something so incredible. But for me, what I wanted to do is to make sure the people who I consider to be the world's best at what they do love what I had. So anything that came out about it just was an organic, incredible, the world's best people say it's the best in what they use. So for me, it wasn't hard. I think what I do find difficult is brands that have an okay product or not so great, they've got to then spin and sell and sell. And I think it also didn't happen as quickly as people thought. Like, it's when you do a brand, I mean, this was 9 years ago that we started this. We only moved to Japan 4 years ago, and the new brushes have only been out just over, and also too, understanding the future and being I think a good product is a good product, good authenticity, but for us, even changing things like environmental and vegan and not having them as our selling point. Like, I really hope the industry, and I do see it changing, that words like vegan, no cruelty, no plastics is just what is normal. Like, it shouldn't be our selling point. And I think, you know what I think it is? People just want real information, real integrity, and they just want their questions answered honestly. And I think always being honest, and I'll never bring out anything that isn't for skin tones, from the beautiful dark Sudanese girls to albino white. My whole brand, or I don't even like that word brand, I'm an artist. It's always about education. And I think helping people with makeup, no matter what they use, that's what women really want for me. I have tools. I don't care if they use mine or not. I just happen to have it. But also I don't like to sell my brand. My brand people are annoyed because I don't do enough like that, because I don't want to be that person. So yeah, I just think having a really good product it's a lot harder with the product that's not so good that you then have to sell. And also we did something very different and unique. So I was in a great position. And then also aligning who has our brand, like Mecca in Australia, Net-a-Porter, Barney's, we've aligned with a beautiful luxury. So there's a lot. That's a whole seminar in itself. But for me, it's always just being authentic. It's just always telling the truth. And if I don't like something, I'll tell you.
So in looking at health and wellness, and I think some of the key takeaways here are, have a look at the brand that you're thinking of maybe introducing into your salons or into your clinics, and making sure that they're along the same lines as what you have, and understanding that education, understanding, as you said, the new part of the industry is going to be, it's going to be brand aware to the environment, to our inner health, to our inner wellness. and also looking at how we can then put that together on social media platforms as well. And I think there are some really key takeaways from this. I would like to...
just one, in that, all of that with Beauty Sons, just also really know your brand's history and how they start in their story. I think that's the part where we're seeing the biggest trend. People want to know how and why was it made like that and how, and that's just a beautiful story, and people like to be part of those brands.
Yes. I think that's really true. And Fiona, that's really where you come in, isn't it, Fiona? Yes. You know, like, because you have the story of the way you wanted to create Vitasol and what it didn't have in it as a product versus what it did have.
For me, it was, look, I've got trust issues. I've been around a while now, you know, I've seen the marketing, I know what goes on in the industry. And for me, it was about having a product that I can trust, that I know, you know, so many brands will add filler to bulk out a product. This can be in topical skincare or, you know, internal. So you think you're getting more than you are. They can add active ingredients, but not at a level that is going to do anything, but you think you're getting that ingredient. There's so much misleading marketing. They'll use fancy terminology. So you think you're the only one that's got bioactive or some special delivery through the skin, you know, and it's all these fancy words. And I think integrity is important. It's important to understand what all this means and whether you're just being, I think, you know, brought into this fancy marketing, or is this a company that, you know, really has trust, integrity, and really wants to make a difference in the skin. And I think for me, it was about bringing out quality, really high quality ingredients that were going to work, but at the same time, keeping the therapist within scope of practice. So always making it, you know, for me, it was about designing internal nutritional support to complement topical skincare and topical treatment so that the two can work in synergy together without the therapist having to think, okay, how many milligrams of this should I be recommending, which I think is a very outdated method, which I'll save for another day. How, you know, a lot of therapists won't even know what coenzyme Q10 does in the skin, or B vitamins, and, you know, certain synthetic vitamins can actually be detrimental to the skin and may be contributing to the actual skin condition that you're trying to treat. So I think, you know, when you're looking at bringing in a brand, first of all, is the BDM a BDM, or do they have training in skin or training in nutrition? Are you speaking to an expert? Do they really understand the formulation? Are you, do you have access to training? You know, not only just product training, but also training on how that product affects different skin conditions, because I think that's really important. Is there prescription and retailing training? Is there marketing support? You know, is there the social media support? Do you have someone available to support you in that area? Do you have the images available to use? All of that, I think, it's very important when you're looking at bringing on a brand. And is it a brand that aligns with your values? That's very, very important, because there are a lot of different products out there, a lot of different brands, and some brands won't align. I mean, we will actually assess a clinic to see if it aligns with our values. And if it doesn't, we don't take that clinic on, because I know it's not going to work in that clinic. And that, for me, is also protecting that clinic too. So it's about a two-way partnership. And I think that's really important.
That's really great advice. I'm just going to finish, and I've got 3 questions after this on timeless beauty. And I love this, instead of timeless beauty, ageless beauty, because really that is what we're seeing. And it's what we do. It's the internal aspect, it's the topical aspect of treatments, and it's also the way that we make people feel as well. And Gay, I'm just going to put this one to you, if that's all right, about thinking about ageless beauty and what that really means to you, or what we can do as practitioners to implement that into our clinics or salons.
Oh, that's a great, I could go on for a long time about this, you know, and I've been listening to lots of things like the pricing the girls have been talking about and stuff like that, and it all comes into your confidence. And when someone comes into your business, you know, yes, we grow our businesses with social media, we need that, we understand all that, but it's also having that trust that you build with someone, that word of mouth, where people will talk about you because you've given them so much information about how they can look after themselves. We have these technologies where we can actually change someone's skin. We can do that. But my thought process on that is, instead of just someone coming in, they're worried about some freckles or they're worried about some wrinkles or whatever that, instead of going to our high-end treatments, let's take the approach of how long has this been there? You know, how can we actually, let's do it in baby steps. Because I think that holistic approach, instead of needling someone's face off in the first treatment, is so wrong.
Yeah.
So wrong. And doing laser is so wrong. Like, let's look at the gut health. Let's work on the immune system. Like the bacteria on the skin works with the bacteria in the gut. And if we have all that information going on inside, how can you effectively treat someone's skin and know that they're going to heal in the appropriate time frames? So when I think about ageless, we need to collect things together, you know, get all the information together, then put someone onto stages, phases I call them, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And these are the phases that we're going to go through to get you to where you need to be able to treat your skin. So,
do you know what that also does as well? Is it actually gives you longevity of a client. So it's not just about seeing a client once or within the first 3 months. It's about setting up a program of having these phases. This is your 3-month program. This is your 6-month program. This is your 12-month program. This is your 2-year program. So you've actually got more longevity of a client because you're constantly revisiting exactly where they are.
Absolutely. And, you know, like in my clinic, we might see someone, you know, once a week or once a fortnight for 3 months.
Yeah.
We can do those high-end treatments. And I think that's the way we've got to think. We've got to think holistically, what is the best for this client? And right now with COVID, we're going to see so many skin disorders.
Yeah.
And there'll be people coming in with pigmentation. There'll be people coming in with rashes. There'll be people coming in with acne. And there's so many ways that we can fix that. But there's no quick fix.
Yeah.
If there was a quick fix, we'd all be millionaires. It's just taking that time to actually understand we can't just go and do a peel or a microdermabrasion or an IPL to fix that. It's stress, it's anxiety. We need to find out what's causing it and go internally and try and help them in that way to correct their skin.
I just have a few questions from the attendees today. So first of all, this is to Dawn. What video editing software do you recommend? And is there a course anywhere which would be good?
Well, I actually just say shoot on your phone. Like don't overcomplicate things to begin with, because you know that is a surefire way to stop you from doing something because you're worried about the tech aspect of it. So first of all, I would say if you've got something that is, you know, really what an iPhone 7 and over, anything over that has got a really good camera on it. So don't feel like that you can't use the easiest options, which is basically your phone and your phone camera to shoot video. If you've got a digital camera, you know, DSLR, SLR, they're great as well, but really you don't want to get overly complicated when it comes to your equipment. When it comes to editing, I want to say to do as little editing as you can as possible. One of the things everyone has said here is about authenticity, and obviously Ray saying that going live, meaning that she can you know, she can make those mistakes and it doesn't matter because it shows that we're real. So I don't like to do too much editing with my videos. Having said that, I do have an app on my phone and it's called InShot, InShot. So I actually use that app. It's a free app. You can pay for the more advanced version, but I just use the free version of it. And then you can use that to trim and to cut parts of your video. There isn't really, I would say, any look, I'm sure there's plenty of courses to teach you how to edit videos, but they would be so technical that I think it's really unnecessary as beauty providers to have that level unless you really want to pay for it for a big program. So keep things as simple as possible. Shoot from your phone, use apps. Something I use on my computer, I use When I'm recording things with my computer that I can do face to face and I can then show slides, I use something called ScreenFlow, which is a Mac. If you're on a PC, you can use something called Camtasia. There's also Windows Movie Maker on your computer. So you can do these things yourself, or another thing you can do is outsource it. So go to something like fiverr.com, which is fiverr.com, and outsource it and get somebody to do it for you. But keep things simple. Don't overcomplicate yourself. So I hope that answers the question.
That's great. Thank you.
A really quick tip, because someone showed me something the other day and it's changed my life. This honestly, you'll die. Really quickly too, if you've got salons, do what I do. Get all your young kid assistants. They are so good. I have got assistants and I go, right, there's some brushes, here's a camera. They come back and they blow me away. That's the little techie girl that you offer a free facial and she comes in and films. Now, if you have an iPhone, you will change your life. Get your iPhone, no one will tell you this. I've only just learnt this, right? Go into where it says record video. There's a thing that says record video. Anyway, just click that. Now, everyone with an iPhone, you'll see a tick that's up high. That every time you get your iPhone and you update it, it doesn't update your video camera. So my phone's been sitting on an update 5 phones ago. Go hit the 4K button, go take a video. It's got steady, you have no idea of the camera. But yeah, get a kid to do the photos and edit it for you. They are so good at it.
They are so good. And
just don't be afraid of using it. Don't be afraid of using your phone. Don't feel like you have to go out there and create these really polished videos, because everyone loves people that are real and authentic and, you know, that are face to face on camera. So don't overcomplicate things. Just be as simple as possible to begin with. And then as you build up and you get more confident and you have more time, then you start investing in equipment and you know, more video equipment and apps and stuff.
okay, so the next question I have is, what do you think the next big product trend will be in related to gut health? Collagen seems to be picking up pace, but what are your favorites? And Fiona, I guess this is a really good one for you.
Collagen's great. It's and I've seen incredible results with it, particularly the marine collagen. Prebiotics is where it's all at, because prebiotics are going to help with the gut. They're the thing that helps with gut health. They're also going to help with inflammation, not only in the gut, but also systemically, which is also going to have a knock-on effect to the skin. So prebiotic is where it's all at if you're looking at gut health. And, you know, that's why we're now saying the importance of having that variety of plant foods in the diet. You know, recent studies are saying we need a minimum of 30 different plant foods a week. So I'd say 40 to get that in. And that's coming from fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and legumes. So to get that, we're getting that diversity of, or helping with the diversity of the microbes in the gut. So prebiotic fiber is where it's really at. And that's where the really exciting research is.
Thanks, Fiona. And I have a final question on, what is your best-selling retail brands which have helped boost your sales during this time? I actually might put this question out to everyone. I think it's a great question, and we all have a different opinion about that. So, Gay, I might start with you for that one, if that's all right.
So I just at the moment have one brand in my clinic. So, and they don't sell online, so we don't have any online sales. So, yeah.
Oh.
I've got a shop. I have got a shop, and I've got other things up on that shop that aren't relating to like skincare. But yeah, like we put things like candles, we put luxury things up there on that shop, but we actually don't have our skincare range on that shop.
Well, it makes it a little bit more bespoke and then focused around that client and what she needs rather than her shopping herself, doesn't it?
Well, I guess the reason for that, and I agree with it, is that they need to come and have a consultation. Mm-hmm. You can't just choose online what you need to buy, like in terms of skincare. Yeah. People are going to have reactions. There's going to be adverse reactions with this when they're just choosing what they want to buy online. So I know there's a lot of controversy about this, but I just, you know, if I'm selling someone a whole skincare routine, I want to be able to control what they're using, how they're using it, and when to change it up. So Yeah.
I actually second that. Whilst I have skincare online as well, that it actually what my clients were the ones that said to me, whilst we know that you have an online store, we actually don't want to go to your online store. We want to come to you. We want to see you. A lot of our clients actually love that personalized feeling, which is what they really missed through COVID. They want to be in our businesses and to share that experience with us. And I think that they look to us for health, for wellness, for skincare advice, and having that one-on-one consultation is still equally really, really important.
I think it's so right, Sarah. And I think, like, even with your consultations, like, we do have online consultations, but we don't have menus.
Yeah.
People choose what they want to have. Like, to me, that's just like, hang on a second, I don't know what's going on here. You tell me what you need, and then I'll go and do it for you.
Yeah.
We have to be really, I think, professional in our approach when we're actually treating people's skin. And what we've discussed this morning, that there's a lot more to skin than just, what we're seeing.
Yeah.
What's going on internally. And that nutrition internally and nutrition topically is so important to get us the end result.
I just want to also answer the question that was just asked, and I'll put this out to the panel. The question that was asked about what are the best-selling brands, I really think that depends on your business, and I think it depends on who your clientele is and who your target market is as well. So a best-selling brand to one business may not be a best-selling brand to another business. So know who your target market is, know who your clientele is, and what really fits with the wellness of your business. And I know one of my clients said this to me last week. She said, I love the concept of having natural organic skincare on my skin, but I've tried them all, and for me, they just don't work. And she wanted something that was a little bit more hardcore in cosmeceuticals, and that was my clientele, but that's not equally going to be someone else's clientele. So I think in looking at what is the best-selling brands, the best-selling brands are the ones that fit your target market. Does anyone else have anything else to add to that?
Can I just say as well, target market is key to everything that we do. I think you have to, and Ray touched on this before about having your tribe, having your, having that tribe of people that want to come back to you over and over again. You need to understand the clients that you're going to be serving, because what suits one type of client doesn't suit another. And I say this with, particularly when it comes to as a makeup artist and being in the bridal industry, not every bride is the same. And if your brand and social media is portraying this real kind of soft, subtle, glowy type of look, you're going to not want to be attracting like this big, heavy glamour brides. But that's okay. It's really important though that whatever you do, you focus and you really know who your target market is, and then you brand yourself to fit into that target market, because the more you understand your client, the easier it is to find marketing material to actually promote to them. And if you're all over the place and you're trying to market to all different age groups and all different skin types, and you're not really focusing on really understanding yourself, your brand and your product, you're gonna miss the mark. So I think finding that target market, finding your tribe of clients is really, really important.
I think so too. I've got one more question, and that's to Fiona. The question was, may I ask Fiona, when she said there are 40 different plant foods, did she mean, do you mean different servings, or are there 40 different types of plant foods?
40 different types of, well, in a way it's the same. So you want to be eating 40 different types of plants. So then if you aim for 40, you'll get 30. So what I mean by that is, if you had whole grain toast with avocado, tomatoes, basil, you've got 4 there, and you want to get up to 40 a week, which in my opinion is very, very easy to do. But I think 96% of Australians are not eating enough vegetables. So that gives us an indication when they're coming into the clinic. When we say to them, do you have a healthy diet? 99% of them will say, I eat pretty good. But reality is, we know that they probably don't have a healthy diet, but they may not even know what a healthy diet is. So just that basic advice can be really beneficial to gut health and reducing inflammation. Saying that though, it does depend on the individual and their actual current state of gut health. So, you know, they can't go and eat a whole can of chickpeas if they've got SIBO, for instance. But again, that's a whole different topic.
I just want to give you some feedback from some of the attendees, and that was, I'll just briefly go over it. As someone who has launched a new skincare brand, I have found this session so helpful and educational. It has made me rethink my marketing and how to progress further. Thank you for all my thank you so much for all your advice. So to the panel, I think that's really lovely to receive a comment like that. So thank you very much for your input today. And also, I also got a lovely thank you from, or actually to Dawn. So a huge fan of yours. And also she mentioned your business branding, and she really, really loved the panel and also the chat as well. So I just want to say thank you so much to everyone for their input. It's been a great 1 hour. I've learned so much myself as a business owner and also clinician as well. And I'm really excited to take back and start thinking about how I can implement different aspects into my business, not only from a health and wellness point of view, but from many different business aspects as well. So thank you so much, ladies. It's been a pleasure having you on my panel today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.